Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 8. Let me know how I sound in the video. I hope I'm coming across okay to you guys. But yeah, the big topic of conversation here today, the biggest topic going on in pro wrestling right now is the conversation about Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the WWE and Universal Championship. This is not a unification match. Kind of odd. They Friday were announcing a unification match between these two. Now apparently they're not giving us what it says to unify the belts. I would hope you all know what unification means. Means to join together as one under one, title or under one roof. That kind of mentality. So we're not going to be getting that. Apparently from Dave Meltzer himself, he is pretty much stating that the whole situation with the WWE Championship and Universal Championship is that they're going to do the same thing they did back in 2019's WrestleMania 35 event with the Women's Championship belts, where Becky Lynch would end up defending both titles. Now, some of you may take that as a negative and think that absolutely sucks and everything, but there's always another thing you can do. Look on the flip side of things. And that is to actually go ahead and see it for what it is. Of course, WWE shit. That's the most important thing you need to take it as, because that's all WWE is. But there is one thing they could do. They could have Roman Reigns defend both titles against one person, making it look like the title is unified. Both titles are unified. Not dropping one of the titles or anything like that, so they would have to have a tournament on Monday Night Raw. I would have Roman Reigns on both shows. Now, some people might find that a little redundant, but Raw could definitely use some of the help from Roman Reigns. I would not put him in 2 matches on a pay-per-view per month. That would be a little ridiculous. I don't see that would be a great idea. Here's what I'm proposing, what I think they should do. They find 2 guys, one guy from Raw and one guy from SmackDown. Build them both up throughout the whole rest of this year without them having one match with Roman Reigns. And then those 2 men that were built up throughout the entire year, have them compete in the Royal Rumble, and then eliminate each other, being a complete draw between those 2. So basically, we'd have 2 Royal Rumble winners. Now, some people may say, well, what about The Rock? What about him? Wait, what are you talking about? WrestleMania 39, one of the biggest moments in wrestling history, is The Rock showing up. Good question. If The Rock does happen to show up at the WrestleMania pay-per-view this year, which I think would be the best idea they possibly could do to give us a hint that this match is actually happening and they're taking this very seriously and it's not just a bunch of talk, I would say, yeah, let's do it. You could have The Rock in the Royal Rumble, have The Rock and someone else that you decided to build up on Monday Night Raw to knock each other out of the Royal Rumble as the last 2 competitors, and it's a draw, and they compete over both titles, and Roman has to defend it against both opponents. That I would be totally cool with. But personally, I think the unification would be a better idea. I think having it under one roof and getting rid of the brand split would be the best thing, at least for both networks as well. It would satisfy both networks. They would get what they want. Um, but as usual, Vince McMahon has to be a douchebag and not give the fans what they're looking for: solid, entertaining programming. And I don't know, man. I find it absolutely ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about that. This seems to be a very, very in the chat. This is a very low amount of people. I actually put a notification out to everybody that this was going to be at 8:30, and only one person's here. Holy fuck! This is not. I'm really shocked by this. Usually, I at least have three to four, or even five people in here at a time. I mean, that's not nothing to scream about or be excited about. Damn. But yeah, the one person that's here, I think it's Matt87 Eagle. Can you leave a comment in the chat? Let me know that the chat is actually working. I'm pretty sure you're going ahead and watching this live. You seem to be the only person on here. But yeah, I guess apparently this is going to be a very short episode of Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 8, which I'm very, very surprised by. I have quite a few things to talk about. All right, good to know, Matt. Thank you for leaving the comment in the chat. I don't know what's going on, Matt. Where's the audience? Usually everybody's here. There's at least 3 to 5 people, which keeps the show going for a full-on hour because I get to read off the chats. But this is very surprising. I'm surprised there's no one showing up besides Matt. That's pretty odd. All right, well, I'm going to continue on, and this might be a very, very short Random Wrestling Talk episode since I have nothing to bounce off of with the audience in the chat, since there's no audience to talk to. I guess apparently other people had things they had to do. But yeah, this is very big conversation. I mean, really, the whole thing with this WrestleMania is just utter garbage. I mean, let me read you guys the actual list of matches that are taking place at this stupendous WrestleMania of all time. Yeah, it's stupendous. It's actually downright pathetic and sad. That's the best terminology for it. But anyway, yeah. So the matches that are going to be taking place, Bianca event. Also, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio will be tag teaming together against The Miz and Logan Paul. That's night 1. These are the 3 matches they got for night 1. This is downright fucking pathetic. Really, I don't understand what the fuck they are thinking. 3 matches, that's all they got. Night 2, they got Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Winner takes all to unify the WWE and Universal Championship. Now, I don't know how that's false advertising in my book, but hey, what are you going to do? Other matches that have already been booked but haven't been decided on which night they're going to be taking place. We have Edge versus AJ Styles and Queen Zelina and Carmella defending the women's tag team titles against Sasha Banks and Naomi. What kind of fucking card is this? This is downright fucking pathetic. By the way, Matt87 Eagle says, by the way, save your time watching Raw. Here's your clip notes. Edge turned heel, Baylor won gold, and Ciampa's Psycho Killer music was changed to a generic wrestler number. Matt, I'm still going to cover Raw. I'm just going to do it on a Thursday. Hopefully I can get this done before Thursday. If not, then fuck it. Who gives a shit? But thanks for the heads up there, Matt. I noticed that Baylor did win. I saw Joe Cronin's thumbnail on his channel, and he had Finn Balor carrying the U.S. Championship, so I'm aware of that. JD was actually predicting that that's what should happen, that Finn Balor should win the U.S. Championship, and then these two would go at it at the WrestleMania pay-per-view. I would be totally fine with that. Personally, I don't think that Finn Balor should have won the title at all. I don't think the match should have even happened. But, hey, beggars can't be choosers, you know? And that's what we are. We're beggars. We're begging for Vince to actually give us a decent show at WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania and Vince McMahon trying to give us a good show, he thinks by giving us a good show, Vince McMahon wants to go one-on-one with Pat McAfee in a matchup that doesn't involve him to actually get physical with Pat McAfee. I don't believe it. Why in the fuck would Pat McAfee have a match with Vince McMahon? I would be totally fine, and this is something JD brought to attention when he heard it as well, that JD believes that Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee should go one-on-one against each other, or Pat McAfee having someone of a replacement against Austin Theory. I agree with that. Maybe I think Austin Theory against Pat McAfee would be a better match. Very entertaining stuff. But a Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee at WrestleMania, like, why don't we just bring Hulk Hogan back? Which, by the way, Shane McMahon, who supposedly is fired by WWE, is asking Hulk Hogan if he has one more match in him. I saw this headline on NoDQ.com. I'm not going to pull it up and read the entire article. But yeah, Shane McMahon's asking if Hulk Hogan has one more match in him. Are we fucking insane? Well, why don't we just do this, folks? Why don't we go ahead and dig up Macho Man Randy Savage out of the fucking grave and go ahead and have him in a match, too? I mean, these people are out of their fucking minds. I mean, give me a break, man. They're digging up old people from the past, trying to bring back nostalgia, and they got young talent sitting there looking for an opportunity. I don't know what's happened to Vince McMahon's mentality, but the man doesn't gamble on anyone he hires or uses on his roster, and he just does nothing. He sits on his ass. He has a fat slob as the executive producer / creative writer, making decisions, and at times Bruce Pritchard is probably just, most of the time, not at times, all the time, going, yeah, Vince, can I suck your balls again? Please, I love you. You know? I mean, like, give me a fucking break, man. The whole thing is ridiculous. Fucking Bruce Pritchard as it. Get this. Paul Heyman, I think it was in 2018, 2019, he was hired for a job as an executive creator for Monday Night Raw. He was looking for talent like a Ricochet, a Cedric Alexander, mid-card guys to eventually become mega superstars in the main event scene. And he's fired because the ratings were dropping. Do you understand the fucking logic here? The ratings were dropping, so Paul Heyman was fired. We've had Bruce Pritchard in executive creative for both shows now for the last, I think, 2 years? Late 2019, I believe he started running both shows. Who the fuck? Like, come on, are you out of your fucking minds? What the fuck is this? Paul Heyman's fired when the ratings are dropping, but good old Bruce Pritchard, our good old buddy Bruce, is still got a job and employed by WWE. Now, please tell me that is not a sign of Bruce Pritchard just sucking on the balls of Vince McMahon. I mean, come on. Give me a fucking break. Matt87 Eagle says, trying to build the next pillars of the new generation and then was fired. Yeah, that's what Paul Heyman did. He got fired because he was trying to build new stars. He was trying to build on the future, not rely on the past, which eventually the past ends up getting retired, getting even older, unable to do the job anymore, unable to produce a good match. If you don't believe me, go look at Goldberg's track record. Goldberg in WCW was far superior and better than he is now. Okay? Goldberg is trash. He can't produce a fucking match for its audience. So why use him? Brock Lesnar can produce a 15 to 20 minute banger with anybody if he wants to. That's why I'm okay with Brock Lesnar being in the WWE, performing for a live audience. But that's about where the story ends. Edge is another one. Edge can go ahead and do that. But I mean, let's be real. I mean, Edge is getting up there in age. He's going to eventually need to retire. I really personally think he needs to retire after this match. I think this needs to be his retirement match. But then again, I think he has one more year left on his contract. So I think probably at WrestleMania 39, that will be his last hurrah. For all we know, they could take my concept, have Rock and Edge eliminate each other as the last two guys in the Royal Rumble, and they end up being the two guys to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And Edge wins the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns, and The Rock wins the Universal Champion. The Rock ends up losing to Roman Reigns, keeping Roman Reigns as still the Universal Champion. I don't know. I'm just coming up with random shit. I'm basically like the WWE creative team in behind the scenes. They just, take a shit in their hand, they throw it up against the wall like fucking monkeys and hope it sticks. Come on, man. This fucking company is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I just really don't get the concept and mentality behind this company. Christopher Carter, good to hear from you, man. He has to say this. They are still trying to kill the new WWE superstars. Sad and the truth. Sad but true. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Christopher. That is absolutely 100% true. This company is absolutely fucking garbage. If you ain't watching AEW, you don't like wrestling. Bottom line. I mean, I watch WWE, of course, from time to time. I can't do the weekly shows. No fucking way in hell. The month-to-month pay-per-views I can handle. That at least is just once out of the month. But on a week-to-week basis, I'd rather shoot myself in the fucking head. How I've been able to do it for as long as I've been doing it so far, I'm surprised my own self. But then again, the views on this channel has been outrageous with the videos of WWE content that I can't go ahead and say no to it. AEW is starting to pick up some momentum. They are getting about 50 to 70 views per video. Not saying that that's a lot, but comparative to the previous videos, if you even go back a year ago on my channel, my videos were absolutely terrible. The viewership was just fucking low as hell. I was lucky I was even hitting double digits. But lately I've been going on a nice stride. The past video I just did yesterday for the pay-per-view of the week, I was hoping that this video would produce a good amount of people to view this video, and it did. So I'm going to continue this pay-per-view of the week. So anyone that's in here, which is only 2 people, Matt, I'm going to do your your pay-per-view December to Dismember. So don't worry, that's coming up next Monday. And I had Pastor Cody, a subscriber to the channel for quite a while now. He asked for me to do the event for All In, the very first, technically, the beginning stages of AEW's birth. So I'm going to cover that. I do have access to that on the Ring of Honor streaming service. So I'm going to go ahead and catch that the week after on episode 3. So anyone else that would like to go ahead and request a pay-per-view, by all means, go ahead. I'll be more than happy to do that. Anyway, let me go into some of the other comments that were made by Matt87 Eagle and Christopher Carter. Matt87 Eagle said, "Thank God Adam Cole got out before they shaved his head and made him Bearcat Keith Lee's mouthpiece." Matt, do you really have to bring that back up? I mean, that was like almost a year ago. I don't even want to think of that. That would have been I think that would have been a career killer for Adam Cole. I think his career would have never been the same. Being a fucking manager? Are you kidding? I mean, yeah, he's small. He's not the biggest guy on a roster, but damn. Treat him like a fucking second-class citizen, like as if he was Brian the Brain Heenan. But fucking the fucking oh my God. But treat him like he's a fucking manager? Are you kidding? You got to be out of your damn mind. And Keith Lee doesn't need a fucking mouthpiece. He can talk for himself anyway. Christopher Carter goes on to say, "Thank God for AEW and MLW is doing very good in 2022, and GCW is on number 3 wrestling in the world. That's saying something." You're forgetting about Impact Wrestling, Christopher Carter. Impact Wrestling, I actually checked out. I actually checked out the match card for No Surrender for 2022 that was on the same day as the Elimination Chamber. I forgot who mentioned that to me. I think it was Daniel who said this. He went ahead and he said to me, he said, "Dude, Impact Wrestling's No Surrender 2022 is actually better than Elimination Chamber." I looked at their card because I've been following their episodes on a week-to-week basis, and I checked that out, and he wasn't lying. On paper, their card is 10 times better than fucking WWE's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that took place in front of thousands upon thousands of people inside of a stadium, and yet Impact Wrestling was going to take place in front of practically no one, about maybe a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 people. That's about it. But the show probably was better. I'm going to catch that at some point. I may do it on a pay-per-view of the week episode at some point. But I'm going to catch all the episodes leading up to now for Impact Wrestling, because they've been doing some interesting stuff. The last episode I checked out was on January 13th. They were doing a storyline between Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling, and having the Kingdom with Matt Taven and that one dude with the cornrows. I forgot his name. He also had Michael Bennett along with him and Mara Kanellis, trying to take over Impact Wrestling with Ring of Honor. So that seemed pretty cool. And Christopher Carter also stated, "Don't say that, Matt. We just not thinking about." What? Christopher Carter, can you rewrite that? That didn't come across well. Oh yeah, Impact Wrestling going very good. Impact Wrestling is 2005 to 2007. That is very awesome to see. Yeah, I think Impact Wrestling was really good in 2005 to 2007. They were even good by, I'd say, about 2010. That's when their show kind of was going downhill. Same thing with WWE. They were turning into shit. But yeah, I mean, I think Impact Wrestling has its ups and downs. The only problem, they don't build any kind of momentum, and I think that has a lot to do where they're being televised. They're being televised on Access TV. Who the fuck has Access TV these days? I don't think any major cable provider has that. Matt 87 Eagle says you'll be the only guy to talk about Impact Wrestling because who the hell watches Impact Wrestling? Matt, you need to stop taking the lines from JD about Impact Wrestling, bro. Okay? Please. You don't need to sound like JD from New York 206. You're not JD from New York. You'll never be JD from New York. Hell, I won't even be JD from New York. The guy speaks beautifully. Me, I'm a terrible speaker, but I know what the fuck I'm talking about at least. So I'm not here just blabbering bullshit. I'm talking reality with you guys. And a lot of stuff that JD from New York says, I actually say the same thing about these shows. I mean, there's certain things I'll disagree with him on, and you guys can do the comparison between my review of a show and his, but they're pretty much one and the same. Matt 87 Eagle says, it's true, it's damn true. Okay, now you're taking Kurt Angle's lines. Kurt Angle could sue your ass for copyright infringement, bro. You're putting this on a live stream where people can actually view this shit. But anyway, whatever. I don't know if I have mine set where it can replay the actual chat when you watch it when you come in and watch it. I think I have that turned off. I never turn that on for whatever reason. But I think I might start having that on so that you guys can see the comments that are made. But I generally read them off here on the channel anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, very, very weird stuff going on in WWE. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. I mean, they have Johnny Knoxville going up against Sami Zayn for the IC Championship. Let's be real. Let's be real, man. I mean, honestly, I'm sorry. I got distracted with a comment that Matt placed on the chat, so I apologize. Lost track of my thought there. But Johnny Knoxville facing Sami Zayn for the IC Championship is just absolutely ridiculous. I really think that this whole concept is retarded. I talked about this on the SmackDown review this past Sunday when I finally got a chance to do the video itself. And I will admit to you guys, I think the idea of this show is absolutely the Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn is absolutely terrible. I think the match that should be taking place, and I already said this, is Ricochet versus Sami Zayn for the IC Championship. Now, if you want to put Ricochet with Johnny Knoxville as a manager, I'd be okay with that. Johnny Knoxville as a manager with Ricochet. Let's say this match takes place. This match is taking place this coming Friday, okay? So let's say this. Sami Zayn goes ahead, wheels his way out of this match, gets disqualified, counted out, whatever, or gets screwed over. Good evening, Black Hats. Nice to hear from you, sir. Thank you for joining the video and everything. But, I mean, you go ahead and you do that, and you want to put Johnny Knoxville in Ricochet's corner to make sure Sami Zayn doesn't do anything that will get him out of the match, something of that kind of nature, I would be fine with that. I understand you want to use a celebrity to get some kind of, people in the stands to want to tune in or, be in the audience to watch this event and see Johnny Knoxville in person. But to literally have him in the match, I think is absolutely ridiculous and a total slap in the face of all the talent that's there on that roster. I really do. Another thing I'm going to bring up to everybody's attention about WrestleMania. Everybody keeps saying, oh, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair has the main event. I did a small rant on the the SmackDown review discussing about the issue with my issue with that and last year's WrestleMania and my thought on that too and all this shit. And I'm going to reiterate it again where I can get a good portion of the rant in there in case maybe you guys didn't want to catch the entire video of me going over the entire show. And you might not catch that. So I'll reiterate it again. Let me just read Black Hat's comment here. He says, I'm not looking forward for this year's WrestleMania. Match cards are weak as fuck. Yes, I was addressing that here on the Random Wrestling Talk just recently, just before you came on. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, man. This is the weakest WrestleMania I've ever seen in my life. They're using old fucking people to perform again. It's ridiculous. Black Hats also says, especially when Vince is going to wrestle like the one with Bret Hart in 2010. Black Hats, I don't know if that's going to come true. I don't know if that is the reality we're getting from this. I don't know why Pat McAfee would need to wrestle Vince McMahon. But I would go with an Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee type of match because Vince McMahon wrestling, I don't think anybody cares to see. Do they want to see him as an on-screen character? Yeah, I think he does have some kind of value in the sense people hate him so much they're okay with him being a heel on TV. They want to see him get his comeuppings. But to see him actually wrestle, holy fuck, I don't want to see that. That would be just absolutely terrible. Matt 87 Eagle goes on to say, being the last match of night one isn't the main event of, for Christ's sake, WWE. Read a damn dictionary. Thank you, Matt 87 Eagle. You have finally spoken reality. We got someone in here speaking the truth like I was on the SmackDown review, and I'm going to say it again. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair is not the fucking main event. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks was not the main event of WrestleMania. They put these fucking gosh darn slogans, these stupid titles, main event because it's the last match of that night. Folks, if this was just a one-night event, it wasn't a two-nighter, okay? It was just a one-night event. We had 8 to 9 matches. Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair would not be the main event. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks would not be the fucking main event. We are getting them as the last match on that specific night because that is what they chose to do for night one. But that doesn't make it a main event. And I'm hearing all the big podcasters like JD from New York 206, fucking BC Amplified. These are two guys I follow, and they're saying they're main events. No, they're not. If they're the main event, they're the last fucking match closing out the entire program of the show. They are not closing out the program of the show because if it was a one-night event, they wouldn't be the last match. Plain and simple. And I've been saying this. I don't like this two-night event shit. I think it's absolutely atrocious. It's not needed. People are going to say, well, what about the idea of the Wrestle Kingdom and all that shit and da-da-da-da? That's Wrestle Kingdom. That's in Japan. We're in America, man. Get with the program. Not to mention, they have 2 title matches closing both nights that deals with the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, come on. I could understand if they want to do a 2-night event with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns facing 2 opponents for their titles and then eventually facing each other on night 2. But they're not doing that. They're skipping all that. So who the fuck cares? You know, this is fucking ridiculous. They're not the main event. They're not shit. They're the co-main event. That's the best way of using what their position is. They are a co-main event because they're the last match for night one. Plain and simple. That is it. All right, let's go into some of the other comments. Black Hat said, can WWE give Almost another manager since AJ Styles broke up? I don't want to see Almost anywhere on my television. I fucking hate Almost. He's worse than the Big Show, the Great Khali, all of them. He fucking sucks. He had a fucking terrible showing in that Royal Rumble. That was fucking garbage. His whole run has been garbage. He hasn't done nothing on television. I'm pretty certain he wasn't even on fucking Monday Night Raw for all I know last night. Black Hats goes on to say another injury of Randy Orton, but it wasn't that bad. Yes, I read that article on NoDQ.com, Black Hats. It is actually, thank goodness, we are still going to get a Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton match. I hope that match turns out to be great, and it's an important WrestleMania feud match between these two, and we finally see a serious Matt Riddle. As you guys already know, I discussed about Matt Riddle in the review from last night from NXT TakeOver New York for pay-per-view of the week. That was the very first pay-per-view I was ever covering for this whole situation, this whole series I'm doing. And I stated this. Matt Riddle was serious in NXT. Yeah, he had his comedic moments and all that. He was trying to be humorous at times. But most of the time, he was serious. And he took the role seriously. And I appreciate that. That is what they need to bring back of Matt Riddle. They need to get him to be more serious again. And with a touch of humor. I don't have a problem with a touch of humor. But to have him clearly being absolutely fucking retarded? No, I'm totally against that. I think that's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Sorry. Don't like it. Rachel Buck says Roman versus Brock and Edge versus AJ Styles are better than the rest of the WrestleMania card. I agree with you, Rachel Buck. They are doing a terrible service to this fucking pay-per-view. 100%. Black Hats, night 2 will be probably dead. I rather watch the final Ring of Honor pay-per-view than WWE's Hall of Fame. Well, I'm actually going to get into Ring of Honor because there's some speculation going on with Ring of Honor and AEW. Rachel Buck also states it will be Randy that is going to turn on Matt, not the other way around. Yeah, I never said that Matt Riddle was going to turn on Randy Orton. I believe full-heartedly Randy Orton should turn on Matt Riddle. The way Matt Riddle has been acting, I would feel ashamed if I was Randy Orton and be like, what the fuck am I teaming up with a fucking moron? Putting myself in a fucking high school diploma, high school robe shit? Like, what the hell? And doing spelling bees and fucking, Jeopardy? I mean, like, what kind of crap is this? I mean, don't get me wrong, that skit with the comedy act with the game show was actually rather funny than the entire Monday Night Raw episode from that episode. I thought that was fucking great. I thought it was humorous and funny, but it did not belong in a wrestling show. I'm sorry. Black Hats, Impact Wrestling might not be the top brand, but the product is absolutely great and fun to watch. Yeah, I try to follow it on a weekly basis. I have a hard time doing it. Sometimes they're hit and miss for me. I enjoy it sometimes, and then I lose interest in it. I come back later on and I watch it again. It's like a love and hate kind of thing. Sometimes they feel like they're truly acting like a real wrestling company, and then the next minute they turn out to be trying to seem a little like WWE in certain aspects with some of their cut scenes and segments, like that gambling casino with, I forgot his name. It's been a while. He acts like a 1980s wrestler with a fanny pack and shit. Forgot his damn name. Black Hats, if you remember his name, let me know. But they have like their own personal casino where people on the roster can go in there and gamble. Fallah Bah, actually, I remember from last year, he became so broke, he became homeless and all that. and then all of a sudden he started talking, I believe, at that point. So yeah, it's kind of silly and ridiculous. They also did some other thing before Taya Valkyrie left Impact Wrestling. They were doing some kind of thing with Rosemary and her having this little place, but this is stuff from last year. I think the later portion of last year, they started, getting away from all that and actually being more towards like a serious wrestling show. I just wasn't feeling it, and I kind of just stopped watching it altogether. So I just didn't. I didn't care to watch it anymore. But I'm trying to get back into it. I think I'm going to catch back up on all the episodes. The first episode I watched after the Hard to Kill pay-per-view was January 13th episode. So I'm going to follow up with all the other episodes I missed, which I have 6 episodes to catch up with to be all caught up. So I'll catch that, plus No Surrender, which I believe it was Black Hats or Daniel who told me that was a better show than Elimination Chamber, which I thought was a fucking hilarious comment. A fucking show with probably 200 to 1,000 people in it, and then you get fucking Elimination Chamber in front of the Saudi Arabian crowd going, "This is awesome! Oh yeah, this is amazing! Yeah, whoop-de-fuck-de-doo!" Like, who the fuck gives a shit? Damn joke, man. But yeah, they were in front of 30,000 people in that crowd, and the show was absolute trash. Fucking garbage. Glad it was only 2 hours and 47 minutes, though. That I'm glad of. Anyway, Rachel Buck went on to say, "I would love for Randy to face Roman for one of the titles." No. I'm sorry. Randy Orton has had enough opportunities for world championship matches. Roman Reigns a heel and Randy's a heel. I would not agree with you on that, unfortunately. But hey, they might do it anyway. They're interested in giving veteran wrestlers who are on their way out of the company than giving it to younger stars who might actually benefit from it. So you might get your wish there, Rachel. Black Cats. There are talks with Bronze CYN with EC3 with a TV deal soon this month, I think. Are you kidding me? This gimmick is actually going to get its own TV deal? Holy shit. I did not hear anything about that. Damn. All right, and then Black Hat says, "I don't know many guys in this year's Impact, but I do know that the women's roster are a lot better than what WWE's treating." No shit. WWE used to treat their fucking their performers, like the women's performers, like as if they really were as important as the men. 2015, 2016, they were getting opportunities. I'm not Charlotte Flair's biggest fan anymore. I used to be back when she started on the main roster, and I checked out what she did in NXT, and it was great work. But honestly, I don't care for Charlotte Flair. She is downright the worst person on the planet. Becky Lynch is becoming just like her, and it's really sad. It really is. They don't even seem like they're really trying anymore. They're just there collecting a paycheck and wanting to be at the top while putting over nobody and making them not anywhere near as important as they are. So Matthew Casillo, I believe is how I pronounce your last name. I apologize, Matthew, if I mispronounced that. Canaseo, is asking, "Can you do your thoughts on AEW and Ring of Honor?" Okay, I'll go ahead and get to the point with that. We're kind of running out of time here. I got about 15 minutes left, so I'll get into that. There's a lot of speculation going on about AEW. And by the way, hi to you, Daniel. Thank you for showing up. If you happen to you kind of missed the majority of the show, go back and check it out. You'll enjoy some of the stuff I had to say there. But just to answer your question, Matthew, The speculation going around about AEW is that there's a possibility that AEW may be buying out Ring of Honor and making it its secondary company to run for themselves. Black Hats, see you later, man. Enjoy your meal. I'll speak to you later. Anyway, yeah, Ring of Honor is looking. There's speculation that the idea is that Tony Khan is looking to. The big announcement is that he bought out Ring of Honor, and that's going to become their second company to AEW. My thoughts on that. I think that would be kind of cool. Ring of Honor would be basically their own facility to train, make people compete over titles. They can even make them, they're looking for the future of having their own streaming service as well. So AEW could definitely use the name Ring of Honor as a tool of being NXT's version for AEW. There's a lot of talent that they can't use on AEW Dynamite and Rampage all the time. So that would be another plus for them to take advantage of. Guys like Keith Lee, fucking John Moxley, if they don't want to use him on Dynamite every single week or something like that, they want to put them on the Ring of Honor shows off of a streaming service to attract interest. I think that would be kind of cool. But is it absolutely needed? No. There's also speculation that AEW may be doing something with New Japan Wrestling, such as having a joint mega show. There's belief that might actually happen. Or they're going to have an AEW versus New Japan Wrestling G1 Climax tournament to crown a number one contender to face for the NWA World Championship. Now imagine this, folks. Could you imagine this? That AEW and New Japan Wrestling are coming together to do a once-in-a-lifetime event where AEW will be part of the Wrestling Kingdom event. And it becomes a worldwide thing that anyone can get access to. If you want to purchase it on BR Bleacher Report, live pay-per-view, or if you have the streaming service with New Japan Wrestling, you'll be able to watch AEW on a New Japan Wrestling streaming service because that is their actual show. So they'd be able to have the rights to show AEW superstars. And AEW has their own matches placed into the Wrestling Kingdom event. I think that would be fucking awesome. But that's just me speculating here. That's all I have to say on that. But yeah, that is the speculation going on. Ring of Honor may be doing something with AEW. They might be joining together as one, and Tony Khan has bought them out. There's also a speculation that Tony Khan may put Cody Rhodes as the lead creator for that promotion and make it like a developmental system to bring up into the main roster, quote unquote, and do that kind of concept. I think that would be the best concept. If you're going to buy out Ring of Honor, you make it like it's NXT and have them compete over world championships, mid-card titles, so on and so forth. I think that is the best idea you can possibly do. But that's just my thoughts on that. Let me go over some of the comments here that were just made. Rachel Buck actually stated, what about AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns for one of the championships, as she mentioned about Randy Orton challenging? I really wouldn't care for that either. Honestly, Rachel, I do apologize. I don't agree with some of your comments or questions, but I just don't think that AJ Styles needs a match with Roman Reigns. We've already seen Roman Reigns and AJ Styles back in 2016 compete for the title twice. So for them to do that again, I don't see the point. If anything, Roman Reigns would be put over by AJ Styles. So I really don't want to see that either. honestly. That match might happen anyway because of the fact that they have no one else. I mean, let's be honest. There's nobody else on this fucking roster that's worth a continental shit. So, yeah, you're probably right. They might do AJ Styles and Randy Orton and so forth, maybe. Who knows? At this point, I don't even think WWE themselves know what they're going to do next after WrestleMania. I really don't. That's why that concept I came up with Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley and a real MMA fight where it's not fixed or scripted or anything like that, because of the way they book things and the way they, plan for things, it would work in their favor anyway because they don't plan for anything. So it would work out in their interest to do that match. But unfortunately, Bobby Lashley is injured with a shoulder problem, so that ain't going to work either. So boo-hoo. All right. So Black Cats was telling me that he had to go off and have dinner, so he'll catch the stream later. Thank you for tuning in for the small period of time that you did. Look forward to hear from you in the comments. Daniel went on to say, at least Ring of Honor is getting some recognition right now because of this. I guess, but it's not really doing them any good. They're pretty much a dead product. I mean, nobody's really giving a shit about Ring of Honor at this point, but I will be doing reviews of Ring of Honor pay-per-views in the upcoming weeks, unless somebody... Actually, I am doing a Ring of Honor show. It's called All In. Pastor Cody, one of my subs on my channel, he requested for that, and I'm going to give it to him after December to Dismember ECW pay-per-view, which Matt 87 Eagle requested because he wants to see me rant and rave about a shitty fucking show, and I'll give him what he wants because I don't know. But I'll give him what he wants because I do like to rant and rave when it comes to these fucking shitty-ass programs. And that was definitely one of the shittiest programs back in the Ruthless Aggression era. That was a fucking garbage pay-per-view. One of the worst. And Matt 87 Eagle says AEW making good use of that Forbidden Door. Yeah, they're creating a lot of buzz. I have to agree with you, Matt. I think that is the truth. They are creating a lot of buzz. I think Tony Khan is trying to attract a lot of attention to boost those ratings on his viewership. I think that's one of the big important things that he's trying to do. And that's where he's trying to get the views up. And I think this is going to help that. I think a lot of people are going to tune in for this announcement, especially anyone that's a wrestling fan, a real legit wrestling fan, not some fucking phony baloney pretend wrestling fan that watches the show once in a blue moon. I hate that fucking shit. If you're going to watch AEW, watch it on a weekly basis. You miss an episode, it ain't like WWE. You miss something important. That is the thing about AEW. They may not produce good wrestling shows, like an actual wrestling match throughout the entire show. But like last week I said, the matches may not have been great, but there was one thing they did that was really entertaining. The promo work was excellent. It got you interested in the fucking upcoming pay-per-view, which case they had not really built into until the last 5 weeks left over. I mean, come on. And I don't know, man. I really think that they may benefit from a month-to-month pay-per-view type of setup and do like in-your-house type of shows that are not like the big 4 pay-per-views that they do per year. So that's just my attitude on that, but whatever. What else? I'm trying to think here. But yeah, I think that this idea of bringing a lot of speculation like we're doing here and with other YouTubers, it's going to bring about a lot of people interested in seeing this show. It could be anything, really. And it's going to be very entertaining trying to find out what that might be. I'm not even sure yet. And I hope it's a good one. I hope it ain't one of these, we'll announce something, get all these people super excited, and then deliver nothing. You know, I hope it's not another stupid signing. I don't give a shit about the signings. I care about something that hasn't been announced yet. Are we seeing another promotion come on your show? Are we getting a joint promotion for a big pay-per-view event? Are we getting another promotion to join with the company completely on a day-to-day basis? Something of that kind of nature would be nice. Another signing of a pro wrestler? I don't give a fuck. This guy has signed enough people to kill a fucking horse. It makes them look like they're becoming like WWE, only they want to show interest and care and give everyone an opportunity. There's just too many people on this fucking roster, folks. They only do 3 hours per week. 2 hours of Dynamite, 1 hour of Rampage, and that's it. That's all they got for the weekly basis. And that's all we really need. We don't need 5 hours of wrestling content. I mean, I'm literally having a hard time trying to keep up with everything. As you guys already know, I did not watch WWE Monday Night Raw last night. I watch it after the show's over. I'm trying to create a week-to-week basis of programming on this channel to deliver content to you guys for you guys to enjoy from a day-to-day basis and take the weekends off unless it's for a pay-per-view of some kind. Like this Revolution pay-per-view, I will be doing a review on that. Whether I'm live or not, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to be because I have to work the next day. So being live is not an option for me. I'm going to have to do a very short review on that and give you guys kind of my mindset on how the show went. I'll probably be extremely exhausted, but I will be giving you guys my take on that. But otherwise, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I can't do a live review. I'm not a JD from New York, a BC Amplified or anything like that. I can't go live right after the fucking show's over and then talk about it on here. I wouldn't get any fucking sleep. I mean, literally. And I know you guys would tune in and want to talk with me, and we go like 2-3, maybe 2 hours possibly, going over everything and discussing about what's taking place on the show. So, Matt 87 Eagle says, "What about Dark and Elevation?" I don't know. I mean, I don't watch those shows. I know Jesse that works with JD from New York 206 does those reviews. If you don't know what his it's Chi-Town Mark, I think is the name of the of his channel. He does Dark and Elevation. But I'm not really interested in those shows. They're a bunch of jobbers, you know, or people that are young and upcoming, like a Brock Anderson, something like that, trying to go ahead and earn their right to eventually get on the main card, which is Dynamite or Rampage on a week-to-week basis. Matthew Canaseo states that AEW is taking over. I gotta admit, yeah, you're probably right. AEW is taking over. I think there's probably a work going on behind the scenes. I really do. I know it's a conspiracy theory, but and Vince Russo actually addressed this when AEW came into existence, which is crazy, actually. He really believes that AEW is working alongside with WWE. WWE is providing the talent to AEW, and AEW is eventually going to consume and control the WWE product, in a sense, where he's gonna own own WWE's trade name. And if that's the case, I'm all for it, man. Please, Tony Khan, buy out WWE if you can afford it. That is, but the talent that WWE has even now could produce a good show, and they refuse to do so. And this card for WrestleMania proves it. I mean, again, we should be getting 2 mid-card championships, okay? 2 mid-card championships. Daniel says Tony Khan can destroy Vince, no doubt about it. Hashtag all elite for life. Absolutely, 100%, man. I'm a fucking mark when it comes to AEW. You want to say I'm being shilled by good old Tony Khan? Go ahead, but there's one small problem. If I was being shilled by Tony Khan, you guys wouldn't be getting me through a poor quality webcam on my fucking computer. You'd be getting top of the line camera work by yours truly, World of Wrestling. Not some fucking piece of crap webcam that looks like freaking fuzzy shit. Okay? I ain't got the money to get all this shit yet. I'm going to be getting a podcast microphone and test that out in the next couple of months around my birthday. So I'm going to go ahead and see how that comes on here and how I sound with you guys. Hopefully I sound a lot better. I know I sound a little bit lower in sound, so I got to kind of raise my voice and be a little bit louder so you guys can hear me better. Not to mention, you guys probably have to raise your volume up on your computer or whatever device you're using just to hear me as well. Matthew Conaseo says, if Cody Rhodes is running Ring of Honor, who's going to run Dark and Elevation? Well, I don't think anybody really runs those two promotions, those two brands. I think they're just, they put the matches together and that's all there is to it. Daniel asks, what would be the best dream match for AEW in your opinion? Wow, that's a really fucking hard question. I mean, there's countless of matches you could think of. It's endless practically. I mean, it's not really endless. I mean, eventually you're going to come to a halt on who else you can come up with to build a dream match with. But I mean, for example, what about a guy like MJF versus Okada? MJF, the biggest dick heel in AEW right now, in my personal opinion. I think he's doing the best work out of everybody in AEW. Roman Reigns is the only one that really is topping him at this point. But once that title gets on MJF, I really think MJF may be giving Roman Reigns a run for his money as being the best heel in the wrestling business, personally. But yeah, MJF versus Okada would be a hell of a fucking dream match to see. Him being this ultimate prick for a year, doing absolutely nothing, but destroying everybody on the roster like Roman Reigns does on WWE, and then all of a sudden Okada shows up out of fucking nowhere and he challenges him for the AEW World Championship. That's a fucking great match. Another match, Adam Cole versus CM Punk. That's a fucking dream match right there. Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. Bryan Danielson, excuse me. I'm giving him his WWE slave name on this channel. Bad boy, World of Wrestling bad boy. I deserve to be reprimanded for that. That's a big no-no. Cardinal sin. But Bryan Danielson versus fucking Adam Cole would be a great match. That match has never taken place on Oh, wait. Yeah, it did. Never mind. My bad. So many fucking things that happened on WWE from back in the day. I can't remember everything. But yeah, Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole did face each other. It was on a SmackDown episode when NXT took over the SmackDown show while all the main roster performers were in fucking Saudi Arabia being kept hostage there. But yeah, I mean, MJF versus Okada would be great. CM Punk versus Adam Cole would be an awesome match. Tanahashi versus Jon Moxley, that would be entertaining as fuck. But if you want to get in the realm of just AEW, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page would be a good match. Oh man, Jon Moxley is a fucking heel playing up against Hangman Page. Whoa, would that be a fucking hell of a match? The match we're getting right now with Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, that is going to be a hell of a fucking match. Yeah, they may have fought each other in the fucking indies in a God knows what small promotion that nobody ever fucking heard of. They're on the top of a big stage performing in front of a large crowd. I mean, this ain't going to be no chump change crowd. We're probably going to have at least 10,000 people there. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be one hell of a match. Those are just some of my my own personal dream matches. What about you, Daniel? Leave a comment in the chat about that. Let me know what your dream match for AEW would be. Matt 87 Eagle says, I think Paul White books Dark and Elevation. Well, that job isn't too hard, Matt, because fucking Dark and Elevation doesn't have any major storylines being produced on those two shows. So, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't care for Dark or Elevation. I care about Rampage and Dynamite. They're the two main shows that they book. So that is what I'm going to focus on most of all over everything else in AEW anyway. Now, once they bring if they happen to bring Ring of Honor over to AEW to make that their version of Dark and Elevation, and they actually do a match, they start doing like having their own championships and whatnot, and they happen to put it on YouTube for the time being until they have their own streaming service. Yeah, I will definitely start watching that and reviewing it here on the channel. Definitely. Daniel says, I'd be surprised if Kota Ibushi shows up in AEW. Just a dream concept if he shows up encountering Kenny Omega due to their history. I think they fought one another before. I think that concept you're coming up with would have worked better if this was a couple of months back before he lost the championship to Hangman Page. That would actually have been a really cool match to put on TV for fucking free. I think a lot of people would tune in for that. They probably would have gotten $1.5 million for that episode if they would have done something like that. Matthew Conasuelo says, Buddy Murphy, but I keep saying Buddy Murphy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so damn used to saying that fucking name. Buddy Matthews versus Kenny Omega. That would be your dream match? I guess that would be kind of cool. They definitely have a similar style of wrestling, so they'd probably tear down the house with that match. Daniel goes on to say, my dream match that will never happen, sadly, would be Brody versus Bryan Danielson or Punk versus Brody. Well, they actually did get to wrestle each other on WWE at the time. Not that this was at all important during the time that they were part of when Brody Lee was part of the Wyatt family. But yeah, they did have some sort of actual physical, altercation with each other in matches with one another. But did we ever get a one-on-one match? I'm not sure. I'd have to go back. That would be around 2013 when they had those kind of matches taking place. But I think it was mostly just handicap matches with Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. Matthew Conasuelo says Kenny Omega versus CM Punk would be another dream match you would put. Man, you got Kenny Omega in a lot of your matches, huh? But yeah, I'd have to agree. Kenny Omega versus CM Punk would be a good match. That would only work if one of them was heel. I don't want to see two faces going at it, especially these two guys' faces. They're very likable characters. Very likable guys, too. They speak from the heart. They're not bullshit artists. So, all right, guys. We've went over the hour. It's almost an hour and 10 minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream off. I am pretty much done. Okay. Daniel went ahead and left a comment. I'll read this, and then I'm closing up shop here for this stream. Daniel states that AJ Styles versus Punk would be cool if AJ ends up in AEW, or maybe Adam Page versus Nakamura if he ends up in the company. I guess so. Matthew Conasuelo says CM Punk should grow his hair out, becomes Ring of Honor CM Punk again. That'd be kind of interesting. I guess, but I mean, he's fine the way he is, I think. As long as he's just CM Punk the way we've always known him to be, that's fine with me. Matt87 Eagle says it would have been great to see those two wrestling free from the WWE shackles. If you're referring to CM Punk facing Brody Lee or Bryan Danielson, yeah, I agree with you on that. But what else is new with WWE these days? Anyway, guys, at this time, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate for all of you who catch this stream later on. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel and you're not subscribed. I do these on a weekly basis, everyone. You guys already know this that are in the chat. I do this on a regular weekly for the last 8 weeks now. So don't be shy. Tune in. I will definitely go ahead and read your comments in the chat to have you be heard on this channel. There's no cost in talking to me. The channel is very small at this point. Once it grows bigger, unfortunately, guys, the super chats are going to have to take place because I'm not going to be able to keep up with all the comments that are left in the chat. But for right now, your voices will be heard. All right? So, again, guys, I appreciate you guys all tuning in. I appreciate the 5 that have shown up today to talk with me about this entire Random Wrestling Talk episode, and it was great talking to you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below also if you happen to just tune in for this this after the live stream was over, of course, and I'll get back to you on that. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great night, and I'll speak to you again on Wednesday for Dynamite Review. And you guys stay safe, and I appreciate your time, guys. Bye.